Gemini Man is directed by Ang Lee and stars Will Smith, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Benedict Wong, Clive Owen, and Will Smith again. And this is the story of a man named Henry, played by Will Smith, who has been a agent of the agency Defense Intelligence Agency for a long time now, and he has decided to retire after many years. The kills and the missions that he's been doing are starting to get to his head, and he wants to have the peaceful life. But in the middle of all this, suddenly someone is targeting him, and it's supposed to be this company of sorts, and he is being targeted by essentially a younger, more superior version of sorts of him. This is a film that I can't say I was very excited for. The trailers didn't really sell me on it. I thought they were sort of subpar. But it is Ang Lee directed, it is Will Smith, and I like the cast. When I see the names of people like Will Smith, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Benedict Wong, Clive Owen appear on a poster, that seems pretty cool. And Ang Lee is a pretty great director. There are films of his that I genuinely really love, and in fact most people do, and he remains one of the best directors ever. This film incorporates something which is the high frame rates capacity. Basically, this film is shot in 120 frames per second and in 4K 3D. So this film has to be seen in that specific format apparently to really appreciate it. Unfortunately, my screening tonight was in 24 frames per second, standard viewing, and a standard screen. So I may not be able to speak to some of the more visual subtle details here and there that maybe some people at screenings got, I did not get. I'm here to just talk about the film, and from the visual standpoint, what I saw. What did I think of it? As for positives, I think the performances pretty solid. I thought Will Smith was great. I mean, he always is, and he did a great job with this character. He was really doing a great job. I'll tell you why I'm at a loss of words regarding that in a minute. And the younger version that he played of himself was actually really uncanny. There's something which they've done this time, which was actually an advancement over just doing a digital de-aging. Yes, he looks 25 years younger, and it is flawless recreation. He looks like he did 25 years ago. But the other thing they've done this time is that they've actually morphed his voice to make him sound like he's 25 years old again. And that's amazing. And he actually does pull that off perfectly. Like, the technology has come such a long way that you can just do that now. There's one great action sequence on bikes, which was really cool. That was honestly the best scene of the movie for me. It was the most well-directed one. It was very fast-paced and exciting. And genuinely, I enjoyed that. That I can see it looking amazing in that high frame rate 3D construct that has been created for this film. Some of the concepts are interesting. The idea of someone this young and being like a reset button of sorts, because life doesn't often give you a reset button to everything that's happened before, and he's sort of acting like an intermediate in that regard. That could be interesting, and the film does bring up points where they're having interactions about what mistakes to not make that Henry has made before in his life. That's where my positives stop. All that being said, I found this film to be disappointingly messy. It was very clunky. There's a really, really weak script attached to this film. And apparently, this was in development hell for a very long time. And there's evidence of it throughout the film. You can tell that this was a project that took a very long time to get made. Now, the last time something like this happened in an Ang Lee film, it was Life of Pi. That film was deemed unfilmable. It could not be done, and it was a lost cause for any director trying to do it. But he did it, and he came as close as he possibly could, or anyone could, to getting a perfect Life of Pi film. And the result was spectacular. It was a really awesome film. Now, I was hoping that something like that would happen here too, because I know he's had a track record for doing stuff like that. The potential to tackle more deeper themes, as the film tries to several times throughout its runtime, is sorely lacking. The film makes some very minor attempts here and there to try and create this very psychological bridge between Henry and this clone of his, but the film sort of skims through it. It never really tries to go in depth into why this could be a very interesting relationship between the two. It's more interested in the poster art, which is them fighting against each other, which is not even the entire film, because you know there's another central villain played by Clive Owen, who, by the way, is so campy in this film. This is the third movie in a row I've seen Clive Owen as the villain in where I thought he was the one of the weakest parts of the film. The other two being Valerian and Ophelia. Yes, I did see Ophelia. I didn't review it, but I did see it. It was okay. Daisy Ridley gave a great performance. That's my quick review of that film. And it was disappointing because the film could have been so much deeper at several points, but it just chooses not to. And this is something that I wish I didn't hope I was not going to say for the rest of 2019. But if you thought Godzilla King of the Monsters had a lot of exposition and setup before that first scene in Antarctica where Godzilla showed up, then you are going to be amazed at this film. That film at least showed things happening before giving you a boatload of exposition. This film is literally just exposition. All that stuff I said about Henry as a person, as the shooter that he has been before, this agent that he's been before, that's what you get. It's all explanation, surface level stuff. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, Danny, has just joined this force in a way, and she's sort of finding her footing. But she's done a lot already as well, and again, that just goes in terms of talking points while they're having a drink. That doesn't make any sense, because if you're trying to show these guys as badasses, later on in the film, when they're doing cool shit, it's just like, wait, they keep talking about dealing with demons and horrible things that they've seen before, and we never see any of that. It's not like this is a very long movie. It's an hour and 50 minutes. There's plenty of time to explore these things. But again, it's trying to be an action thriller, but it is also trying to be something deeper. I just said that. It is trying to go for a deeper analysis of things. But my other real major issue, more than any other, is that this film doesn't seem to have a voice of its own. You can't tell Ang Lee made this film. This could have been made by anyone. And it feels like that. There's never a point where I thought that's a very Ang Lee-like thing to do. He has a distinct style of direction that is completely missing in this movie. There's no trademark signature of his at all. And that was very disappointing as well. I wish I could have seen more of his unique voice in here, but you just don't. And in the end, like I said, that's that script. It's the way the characters are handled. I didn't say much about Henry in the beginning. Remember I said that he does a really good job of, and then I paused and I said I'll get to why I didn't say much. Because there is nothing much. He is a grizzled guy who has seen some stuff. But you rarely get more than that. That's pretty much all you get. It's all detailed and surface level stuff. And for a film that, again, is trying to go for more, that's just not enough. I think the only way to really recommend it on a visual scale would be on the high frame rate capacity, and I didn't see it that way. And that is only in select IMAX theaters. Unless you go to a specific IMAX theater, you're not gonna get that. But I know people who have seen it in high frame rate, and they've also said that, yeah, it's good for the first bit, but then it gets tired, A, and B, the film around it is just not that good. You need something to back up the visual splendor of it. Yes, the de-aging is impressive. Yes, there are fine performances in the film. And yes, there is that one great action sequence, and there's a handful of fine concepts. But the movie itself is not able to do much more than that because there is nothing more underneath the surface. I'm gonna give Gemini Man a 5.5 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Look forward to more reviews very soon, including reviews of films this week. A lot of them coming out. Can't wait to talk about Addams Family. I might get a chance to review that. El Camino, a Breaking Bad film, and Little Monsters. Looking forward to all those. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.